Properties like font size, line height, margins, and many other CSS properties expect some sort of dimension value. Dimension values support a wide variety of units, but the most common and useful ones are px, em, rem, percent, vh, and vw. So px is short for pixel, which is a single dot on the screen. So the text with font size 20 pixel is 20 pixels tall on screen. In actuality, due to browser zooming and retina displays and other factors, this may or may not match to 20 physical on-screen pixels. So px are useful for both horizontal and vertical dimensions. EM is a typographic term that has come to the web. So on the web, M units are usually used for vertical dimensions. So 1 EM maps to the height of one capital letter in the parent context. So this is how you can use the EM unit. So for example, with this unit, with this value with EM unit, so the text in the list is smaller than its parents. So here with 1.2 M, so here H1 will be bigger than the parent, and with this value, any italicized text will be half as big. So all the text sizes here are relative to the page's base sizes. So if you try this unit in your code, if you use this unit in this property, you'll see different results on the rest of the page from either of these rules applied to the body. But relative to one another, they'll remain sized correctly. The REM is much like EM, except that EM sizes on an element relative to its parent, and rem always derives its size relative to the root. In an HTML document with lots of nested elements, REM will generally prove to be more reliable than EM. So REM is supported in all modern-day browsers, including mobile, but not older ones. Using the CSS rules from the So note that to ensure you are setting the root size, use both the HTML and body selectors, just like this one. So percent. Whereas EM is a measure relative to the parent's text size, the percentage unit is relative to the parent dimension. So this is useful unit for both horizontal and vertical dimensions, though often useful in the horizontal. So this is an example of how you can use the percent unit within the margin left property. So here, if you set the margin right to 10%, 10% of parent width will be spent on the two sides margin. So initially, the percentage unit may seem very handy, very easy to use, and it is, and many developers fall in love with it, but it is usually short-lived. One of the limitations of this rule is that for it to work correctly, the parent must have an explicit width or height set. So This limitations is particularly noticeable in the vertical dimension. So if the parent element doesn't have an explicit height set, then child percentage may be percentages of 0. VH and VW. So VH stands for viewport height and VW for viewport width. So the VH and VW units work much like the percentage unit. But instead of percentage of the parent, it is percentage on the screen, aka viewport. So obviously, VH is for vertical dimensions and VW for horizontal dimensions. So this is an example of how you can use value with this unit. So VH and VW do not suffer the apparent limitation that the percentage unit does. So most modern browsers support these units, but there are some exceptions on older mobile browsers.